anyone else on the internet right now. But basically, what I want to talk about is what's been going on with Mortal Kombat and the incoming wave of Tekken that's about to take over the fighting game community. Uh, hey, what's up, Czar? Um, Basically, what I want to say is Mortal Kombat is a game I have like near and dear to my heart ever since I was a child. I remember playing the original on the NES and Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 on Sega Genesis, which I still have copies of those games actually. But what I know what's going on is basically NRS, which is NetherRealm Studios, the creators of Mortal Kombat and the current devs. They are currently in a bit of a pickle right now because the game Mortal Kombat 1 is pretty stale. And from what I can go off of, that doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. The closest thing we can hope for is crossplay, which doesn't come out for another month. And I don't know what part of the month. It could be February 1st or 2nd. It could be at the very end of the month. I don't remember. But they're finally adding crossplay to Mortal Kombat, which in a fighting game is kind of essential for the life of the game. And I'm not going to get into MK11 because as much as I really loved that game and enjoyed it, all I ever heard was how much people didn't like it and how it sucked and it wasn't as good. What's up, Synflorts or Zara? Yeah, crossplay should always be a thing. Um, like for any game whatsoever. And from what I can tell, besides adding crossplay into Mortal Kombat, I don't know any. Oh shit! It's actually working. The shoutouts are actually working. But thank you for that shout out, Sar and Synfluencer for hanging out. Stacking dubs. I remember playing with him on his 12-hour stream that one time. But back to what I was saying. Basically, I have no right above anybody else. Is English okay? Yeah. What's up, Tiger? Steel Tiger, first time chatter. Fucking Zara, why are you shouting me out? Shouting me out on my own stream. But yeah, I was saying. What's up, Tiger? I have no right above anybody else to talk about how I'm doing my job. Thank you. I have no right above anybody else to say this or that about certain fighting games, but I'm pretty much new to Tekken. I haven't played Tekken since I was a kid. I remember playing Tekken Tag Tournament, staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning with my cousins and my brothers, just playing the shit out of the game on the PS2 and playing Tekken 3 on the PS1 back in the day. And for the most part, it's basically been in the background of pretty much on my fighting games list because I'm not a great player. My brain doesn't work that way. I typically tend to pick one character and just stick with them and try and be as good as possible with them. In Mortal Kombat, my go-tos are Scorpion and Kung Lao, but it used to only be Scorpion for the longest time, but then it became Kung Lao after MK11 because I didn't like how Scorpion played in 11 or MK1. And basically what I'm trying to say is I've noticed a lot of the discourse against NRS and Mortal Kombat. Basically the game's very dry and a lot of the NRS community is going to jump over to Tekken. And I'm not talking about pro players, I'm talking about general casual players like myself who play online for a couple hours a day and then they'll leave, or maybe 4 or 5 times out of the week they'll play online. Not like Perfect Legend, not like Sonic Fox, not like Ninja, not like Tweety or King Gambler who just grind the game 24/7. I'm not talking about them because they're gonna go try out everything that they want, like regardless, because they're that good. But for people like me, Tekken 8 is totally different mechanics to this. Yeah, from what I've seen in the demo, yeah, the mechanics and they've changed. They've pretty much revamped the whole game. They've added a whole bunch of new things, including the heat system. And basically, the whole point of what I'm trying to make is I'm definitely gonna be going into Tekken. Um, I have very little experience in 3D fighting games. The most time I've ever spent playing a 3D fighting game was Virtua Fighter, and that was only because they remastered it. Because when I played that game back in the day, Part 5 is what I'm talking about, it was on the PS3, and I didn't like it. There was a million other games I wanted to play at the time, but I was only basically forced to play Virtua Fighter 5 at the time because I didn't have that many options. Um, but Tekken 8 is coming out, and the reason why I'm grinding um, as much as I am in Tekken 7 is because Tekken is actually Legacy, which Mortal Kombat doesn't do that. Every time you play a Mortal Kombat game, you have to relearn the characters all over again, and they change mechanics all the time. Street Fighter and Tekken, they happen to follow Legacy for the most part. So your character, you're not completely lost. You don't have to relearn the entire character all over again. At least not to the extent as if you're starting fresh. And for me, I started last week um, grinding the game, and down here you can see um, shit you can't see because my camera's in the way. But this is the time I have on Tekken 7. It's only 25 hours. It's right there. You can kind of see it. 25 hours. And I think I've progressed pretty well in that short amount of time. But like I said, I only play one character. And what I've done 3,578 hours. Yeah, man. That's tough, man. I don't have that many hours in any game. Um, the most I've ever had in a game is like maybe half of that, and that was Dark Souls 3 because I played it on PS4 and Xbox for like I think 700 hours on PS4 and I think 300 or 400 hours on Xbox. And when you're new to fucking Tekken, man, it's crazy because it's very similar to VF, but VF doesn't have like projectiles, doesn't have superpowers. It's just martial arts versus martial arts, and ring outs are a big thing. In Tekken, it's not really like that. Um, Tekken is just a whole nother beast. It's the king of 3D fighters. It's been the king of 3D fighters for like 20 years now. Nothing else comes close to it. So when I was trying to find a new character, I remember most hours got 8,000. Damn, bro. Sheesh. Holy shit. Oh, God, dude, it's like I played Dark Souls 3 for 2 years straight after it came out, and it's not. I'm not nowhere near as much as that. But damn, man, you must love that game. Monster Hunter games. I'm assuming it's more than one game because there's plenty of Monster Hunter games. But yeah, what I was saying, finding a main character was fucking tough, man. Because back in the day, like I said, I've never played Tekken that much outside of the PS1, PS2 era. And on the PS1 era, Law was my favorite character. I thought he was super cool. He reminded me of Bruce Lee, like obviously because of the inspiration behind the design, but also of Liu Kang. Anything that reminded me of Bruce Lee or martial arts movies back then was like my shit. Like I fucking loved it. I'm a huge fan of Jet Li. Jet Li is probably like my favorite like martial arts actor. Him and Jackie Chan and so many others. And so I kind of thought about Law as a main character. 20,000 hours in WoW. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. I mean, WoW is, WoW is it's been around again for like probably like 20, 25 years at this point. But again, I don't know. I don't know too much about WoW. But so Law was in consideration, and then Heihachi. I remember in Tekken 3 and in Tekken Tag Tournament, I used to play a lot of Heihachi, but I thought it's because he looked cool, and also in Soul Calibur when he was a guest character, because I liked his move set, and I liked that he had that electricity coming out of his body. Like I thought that was freaking cool. It reminded me a lot of Raiden with his superpowers and stuff. On and off in WoW. Yeah, man. I understand that. That's how I am with From Software games, man. I was deep into them, and then ever since Elden Ring came out, I was pretty much satisfied. I was like, I'm good for now. So I'm taking a break from those games, and I'm back into. I guess I'm getting into fighting games now because Call of Duty ain't doing it for me anymore. But yeah, anyway, so Heihachi was also in the mix for a contender. Like I want to try out, and I remember seeing Jin because when I think of the face of Tekken, people think of Kazuya. Unfortunately, Heihachi's dead. So yeah, he got by Kazuya. I remember that. I was seeing the trailer. I didn't play the story mode, but I remember seeing so many like videos and like cutscenes and stuff online. So a lot of people think of Kazuya when they think of Tekken, but for me, I have always thought of Jin because he was the poster boy of I think Tekken 3, and that's the one I played the most. And I remember him turning into Devil Jin in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and I was like, dude, this is fucking sick. I was like, so I've always thought about Jin. And then I pretty much forgot about Tekken, and then I was reminded about Kazuya and how big and how much of a main character he is when they added him in Smash. Because you need to be like iconic to be a guest character in Smash. You can't just be some guy. So when they added Kazuya there, and I remember going to I can't remember his name, but he's the commentator for Tekken. Is it Mr. Tasty or something like that? Something like that. I told him I was in his stream and I asked him. I was like, I've always thought Jin was the main character, or like I always thought Jin was the face of Tekken. And he said, yeah, but he doesn't think that's the case anymore. He thinks Kazuya and the Heihachi story was much bigger than Jin. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. So again, and then of course Eddie. I don't even have to talk about Eddie. Eddie's the character you pick when you want those, those easy wins. I don't know how he is in this game, but I've had my frustrations with Eddie players online. And long story short, I circled around and I landed on Asuka. And the reason I landed on Asuka was because I don't like meta characters in fighting games. I don't like meta anything, whether I'm playing Dark Souls games, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't like meta anything. So when I think of meta in Tekken, I'm very limited to what is and what isn't. Like, I've seen like Lil Majin destroy with King. I've seen Devil Jin in Tekken tournaments. I've seen Kazuya. I've seen this guy Bob. So again, like I said, I don't know anything about Tekken meta and stuff. So I thought, well, understand that one with not liking meta. Yeah, man, it's like, to me, it just takes the fun out of it. Like, it's just not fun for me. Like, I'd rather not go down that road. Like, if you're doing things to make the game easier, it's like, that's not, I don't find that challenging for me. I don't think it's fun. I mean, Law. Yeah, Law's a beast in this game, dude. Law's always been, like, frustrating motherfucker to play against. Especially back then with that, the backflip kicks. I don't know what they're called. Mainly only a lot, and that's not meta. Well, I don't know, man. I was playing COD earlier, then we got knifed to death, man, so I don't know. But yeah, like, you have options, basically. And so I went with Asuka, and the reason I went with Asuka was because kind of like how Kung Lao is in Mortal Kombat, he's never been the top of the board. He's been good, but not good enough to be like A tier. Oh my god, look at Eddie. So I like, how do you say it? New challenger. Yeah, this happens a lot, man. I'll connect to something and it just loses it. So yeah, I just remember watching a lot of Perfect Legend videos and all these videos online about the Korean backdash and stuff, which I can't do that. Like, I can move a little bit, like, not really. Mainly just to get in so I can block. That's why I'm doing this. It looks all janky, but yeah. I went with Asuka because I wanted a balanced fighter. I like balance in fighting games or in characters in general. I like to be able to cover all bases, and I feel like Asuka can do everything. Like, is she the best at all these things? Probably not. Like, her jab is slow, and Sorry, I have an ad coming in. I'm gonna snooze that. Her jab is slow. Her combos are kind of slow, like compared to Jin and or Heihachi or Kazuya. Even Lily, like she's not the fastest. She's not. She doesn't output the most damage, but she has options, and that's what I like. That's how I ended up with her. And I basically enjoy like experimenting with that. And she has a parry also, which I fucking love. In Mortal Kombat, a lot of the characters don't have parries, and